Alright, I just wanted to make a video today, I guess, basically, to talk to you guys about the real parts about working from home, and more specifically, Qkids. So if you guys don't know, I've been working for Qkids now since February. That's when I started my initial hiring process and completed both the demo class as well as I did 4 trials. They give you the option to do at most 6 trials before they decide if they're going to hire you or say this isn't a good fit for you. So I just wanted to go into a little bit of detail of how I actually applied to work with Qkids, what I did for my interview, and I guess some pros and cons of working for the company. Qkids, if you don't know, is an online platform based in China, and they actually connect teachers in both Canada and the United States with over 800,000 Chinese students learning English. So I am an ESL teacher, so English as a second language, and this has actually been very recent for me. So I graduated with a degree, Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience and Psychology with a minor in English. Strange, but it's led me here. Previously was working at our local university, the university I actually graduated from as well, as an administrative assistant. But my health and my body had other plans, and I actually had to leave work in August of 2019 due to my health. I'll get into that a little later in another video, but basically a bunch of chronic illnesses, unknown, just kept getting worse. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I was a wreck. Just so much more full of life now, and it's sad to know that I had got to that point, or let myself get to that point. First off, when you apply for Qkids, you're going to be required to submit a short 2 to 3 minute long video of you actually reading a children's story. So, the demo. You're supposed to read a children's story. What do you do if you don't have one? Google one. Yeah. I found, I think it was The 3 Little Pigs, and I just read that directly off my computer and made a few props to go with it out of paper. And I passed right off the bat. I actually heard back, said less than 24 hours, I got my, acceptance email. Once you actually pass that initial story reading kind of video, their initial demo, you're going to have 2 demo interviews. So you're gonna have demo 1 and demo 2, and then 2 trial classes at minimum. So the demo 1 is where you're gonna be meeting with a staff member from Qkids, and they're gonna ask you a few questions like teaching experience, education, a few things like that. Why do you wanna work for Qkids? And be honest, definitely be honest. They really appreciate that. If you want to work from home and this is what you're aiming for, tell them, because you're going to have a lot of availability and you're going to be eager to work from home, and this is going to be a priority for you, so you would be a good candidate for them, really. So just be honest in why you're looking into this, why you want to work for Qkids. For me personally, I love kids. I adore kids, but I also have a really big theater background. So I actually started in my degree in performance arts and theater, and I only switched into psychology after my first year of university. And all throughout high school, for 4 straight years, I took every single drama class my high school offered, and even co-opted some. So I dove head first into theater, and this job is perfect for it. It gives me that sense of performing, the connection I love, so this was a perfect kind of position for me. The initial demo 1, you're gonna have a few interview questions, and then they're actually gonna just get you to show you how you use the teacher's platform. I actually decorated the classroom before the teacher was present, just to make sure that I knew how to use the tools. So I had some stickers laid out, I had kind of a text board already started with some words ready, and then once the teacher the interviewer actually came in, they could see those and then they could just ask me a few questions and make sure I did know how to do it. But it made it a ton easier to have it already set out on the classroom by the time I was in there and the teacher was there. So yeah, once you pass your first demo, they will reach out to you and interview you for a second demo. For me, they actually asked if I would be interested in the second half of the demo while I was still completing my first part of the demo. So you'll probably know pretty soon. And the second part of the demo classes is actually more of a structured interview. This portion took me about an hour, maybe 40 minutes, I would say. You will be interviewed by this staff member in your second demo, and then they will become your coach for the rest of your time with Qkids. You can message them right on your teacher's platform. Okay, so this is just a little peek at the teacher's portal, and this is the phone app. So here you can see I have a couple of finished classes. These are from this morning. And just gonna scroll down and you can see they show your vocabulary as well as a brief lesson plan for you to review. And this is just on the app. And so if you were to look, so tomorrow I'm gonna be teaching just 2 classes, and it just changes how they're shown. So they say as coming instead of finished. And then here we have our calendar, so you can kind of see an overview of an entire week instead of just a day. So this is this current week. So you can see I have a little red square, which is actually a technical difficulty that came up as an absence. So there was a server error on Qkids and I actually was unable to use the app. So they've waived the absence and the no-show, and it will disappear, but it shows up as red on your calendar. The green squares mean I'm available, so I didn't have a class booked for then. And then the little gray squares are requesting off, so I can actually book off a scheduled class, and it's then removed right from my schedule and put right back into the system and offered to another teacher. And the darker blue classes are ones that I haven't taught yet, and then the lighter blue are classes I have taught so far. So they're finished and I have been paid for them by now, in my wallet, not for real. It's not in my bank account yet. Okay, so this is next week's schedule, and it was actually given to me about a week in advance. And I'm actually able to preview the lessons already, but most of them are going to be empty at this point. So if it's still empty, I don't usually prepare the lesson plan just because the PowerPoint will probably change. So this one, also empty. Yeah, so most of my classes right now for next week will be empty, but by the time I go to teach them or even prep them on Sunday, they should have at least a student in it. And this is how you would request a class off. So you can just put in a reason, sick, technical difficulties, and that'll just go right back into the system once you hit confirm and just be removed right from your schedule. Okay, and I also wanted to just give you a little look into the performance reviews you will get. So these can be found on your teacher's app on your phone as well as on your computer on the main teacher's portal. So they give you a few performance tags, and this is actually what the students' parents will grade you on. So you can see the ones with kind of 3 or 4 might be some areas I might want to work on, and the areas with 5 I'm doing pretty good at, so I want to either maintain that or continue to do kind of what I'm doing. And yeah, so you can kind of see this is only from my second full week of teaching, so there's definitely lots of areas to improve on, and I'm super excited to get better. It's already becoming so much more fun, and these reports come in every week on Tuesday. And then just gonna go into our profile, and this is your teacher's profile. So I love watching the likes go up. I'm still waiting for today's to come in, but it's so fun. And then you can see your wallet here, and you can actually keep track of the income you're receiving from your classes immediately after you teach them. So this is what my next pay will be so far, and you can kind of see it broken down based on lessons as well as bonuses or training as well, and then you can see it all in a lump sum too. So once you've taught your 2 demo classes, you're actually going to do more classes, but you will actually have students in these. So next you're going to be invited to teach 2 trial classes, which will have 4 students in each of them typically. Sometimes you have a student not show up and you end up with 3, but those will be your trial classes. So your first 2 trial classes are generally booked back to back, and you may pass right after these 2. Mine are a minimum of 2 trial classes and a maximum of 6 before you get hired. So I actually did 4, and I'll tell you a little bit more of why I ended up doing 4 trial classes. So my first 2 trial classes, I didn't actually have a computer mouse or an Ethernet cord, and I was just using Wi-Fi. And with the Qkids platform, that's almost impossible to do. There's just so much running in the background, it just really struggles. So I had a problem with my internet in the first 2 trials, and then I didn't have a mouse, so I wasn't able to use the highlight tool, which is actually a really big part of most of the lessons. So I was aware I probably wasn't going to pass, but I did want to try for those. So I did my first 2 trials on a Friday morning. After I found out on Monday that I needed to do another trial, they booked me one for the next morning. So I actually didn't see the PowerPoint until 2 hours before I taught the class. I felt like I was gonna fail it. Like I didn't, you know, when you just come out of a test and you're just like, no, I bombed it. That's done. It's kind of how I felt. Like it didn't go badly, but it didn't go good. Well, my headset didn't work for the first few minutes, so that's never happened to me, and I definitely panicked a bit. My headset stopped working at the beginning of my 3rd trial. I first tried to contact CCT. They didn't answer right away just with the time change, so it's the middle of the night in Beijing, usually when I'm teaching. So the responses are not as quick, but I notified them that it was an urgent issue and they actually got back pretty quickly there, so that was amazing. One of the students' parents spoke incredible English, so she was actually the one who pointed it out that they couldn't hear me. So she really helped me along. Thank you. And that was my 3rd trial class. As I got through the 3rd trial class, I was invited for a 4th trial. And honestly, I actually felt worse about the 4th trial, but I passed on this one. So I spent less time on each slide. I didn't, I guess, focus on little things as much. I just tried to kind of pace myself and get through the entire PowerPoint. I used a bit more props. I had a bit more TPR as well, and I passed on the 4th trial. I can't wait to share more with you about Qkids, about working from home. If you have any other questions, / if you want to hear about Qkids, if you want to hear about just working from home, leave me a comment and I will do my best to answer you and provide the answers I can. In terms of working from home, it's not all that it's cut out to be. Do you ever just find yourself sitting at your desk and then you're like, I could go to bed? That's what it's like working from home, because you can go to bed. You can walk away from your desk and go right to bed. Exhibit A, I'm in my bed.